Playmakers, what's going on? This is Coach Wood, and I am back with you, baby. There's a million things you could be doing right now, but you decided to come by the Before You Go Pro channel. So we truly appreciate you. If this is your very first time joining the Before You Go Pro channel, check us out. This is where we talk football, baby. Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, rocking with Coach Wood. We hop into the huddle and we cover the things that matter to the young football players out there, the parents of football players, the coaches, and the fans, all right? So if that's what you like, then you're in the spot to be. Also, if you're joining us for the first time, please consider subscribing. Please consider telling a friend, a teammate, your parents, or a coach as well. We want to grow this thing strong. We want to grow this football audience organically. We want to grow it strong, and we would love for you to support us in that. So also, we have curated some amazing resources for you guys. So if you are a player, a parent, a coach, go down in the description box, you guys. Check out the resources we have. We're going to be rotating those things, but all geared towards serving you. All geared towards teaching about recruiting, teaching about NIL, teaching about the business of this thing we call football, okay? So check out the resources that we have for you. But I am excited, you guys, to get into today's content. What we are talking about today is tried and true. It's a tried and true question. If you don't know, Before You Go Pro, we work with athletes on a daily basis from across the country, and been doing it for 2 decades now. So this isn't fly by night. This is truly a community. We serve athletes at the highest level, you guys, and their families. So one of the questions that comes up, from time to time, and usually this is even before, obviously, the athletes that we get our hands on with Before You Go Pro, because we work specifically with high school and junior college athletes, and then we stay with them until they hang up their cleats. So we get a young man in high school, junior college, bread and butter time. We stay with them until they are done with football. We want to support, love, and guide them until they're done. We want them to scrape the plate. So we're very specific about the athletes we work with, but obviously people know what I do and they know what our program is all about. So many times, and this is once again tried and true question, we get the question of, hey, when is the right time to get my kid into tackle football? When is the right time to officially start tackle football with my son? He's been asking me, Coach Wood. He's banging on my door. He's got a PowerPoint that he wants to start football tackle. We've been putting him in flag already. He's ripping it up. When should we start this young man in some tackle football? That's a fabulous question. And it's a question that has become more and more prevalent throughout the years, because back in the day, it was just a given. If dad wanted to throw the kid in some tackle football, mom wanted to throw her son in some tackle football, people usually didn't think twice. But obviously, we know the nature of the game. We know that this is a physical game. This isn't something to half-ass. This isn't something to play around with. Your kid's heart needs to be in it if they're going to play tackle football. I'm highly against a young man that doesn't really want to play being pushed out there. I'm against that. Let's put that on record. But we're talking about the young men that do want to play. They're asking their parents, can I jump in the game? And the fact of the matter is, you guys, this is a physical game. If you put your kid on the field, there is a high probability, not a low probability, a high probability that they will be injured. At some point in time in their career, they're going to face injury if they're a tackle football player. To a certain extent, you haven't gone far in tackle football until you face a little bit of injury significance. So that's just something that's par for the course. If I put my son in boxing, I got to see how he can take a punch. He's going to take a punch. He's probably going to get knocked on his butt, maybe even knocked out. How does he respond to that? Is he the type of kid that can handle something like that mentally, physically? So these are all things that parents obviously have to think about before they put their kid in tackle football. Now, depending on what part of the country you're from, there is no blueprint to this, you guys. So let's also put that out. There is no be all end all. This is the perfect time to start. That does not exist. Every kid is different. Every family situation is different. These kids are physically at different stages, so there is no be all end all. This is the age to put your kid in football. Now, depending on the part of the country you're in, you may have some people that feel otherwise, but there is no be all end all that if you put your kid in football at this time that they're going to blow up and be a superstar. That doesn't exist. So what you're trying to do as a parent is you're trying to find what's comfortable for you and your family, what's comfortable for you and your child, or if you're the guardian of this child, you're trying to find what's comfortable for you guys' situation. In my own personal situation, now I'm somebody, I didn't play a long time in the NFL or anything like that, so you have to take it for what it's worth. You have to take in account who the messenger is that's bringing you the message, right? All I can say is that I played football as a youth. I played in high school. I played at a top level in college, and I got to play some professional ball in Canada Arena Football League. That's where my expertise lies. Also, I have helped many kids, it's probably thousands now, play at the college level, and some of them have been fortunate enough to play professionally. So I've been around football a very long time. For myself personally, I was the kid itching to play. So that's something that you need to look for as a parent. Once again, you don't want to push your kid out on the field if they're not itching to play. If they're not itching to play, then I would slow play them getting into tackle football. If they are not just banging down your bedroom door with a PowerPoint, I would slow play, or asking you, come on, take me out to the field, and begging you to play college tackle football. I would slow play it a little bit. Now you do get the 5, 6, 7, 8, 9-year-old that's just begging you. They will not stop talking about playing tackle football. For my family, for my parents, that was me. I would not stop talking to them about playing tackle football from a very young age. But my dad was smart. My dad was very smart. He was ahead of the game with some of his savvy around my football career. He did not let me start right away. You go to some of these places down south, Georgia, Alabama, Texas, they're starting at 5, 6, 7 years old. I wanted to start at that age. My dad didn't let me start till I was 9. And also I had to prove it in flag football first. I had to show that I had the athletic ability, the ability to protect myself. I had to show some things to my dad in flag football first before I got to play tackle football. Now, in today's day and age, for me, I think that depending on the position, you may have a little bit more time than other positions. Now, also keep in mind, flag is becoming more prevalent. Flag is a great way to start off a young man with football, especially if this is a young man that's trending to be a skill position player. Flag is the way to go. As far as tackle football, you want to protect the kid's body. You want to protect them physically. They're still growing. They're still maturing. You do not want them to have any setbacks, a broken leg, torn tendons. You do not want them to have any setbacks too young. So in my opinion, if an athlete is starting right before high school, because you want them to get their beak wet. You want them to get their toe in the water a little bit and get some of the nervousness of tackle football out of the way before high school. You want them to get comfortable with even wearing pads and running around and catching with equipment on. Those are things you want them to get comfortable with and kind of get out of their blood right before high school. So in my opinion, I think that eighth grade, and if you're gonna go on the earlier side, so eighth grade, what are we talking about? 13. The time I was in eighth grade, I was about 13 years old. If a kid is a little bit older, maybe he's 14 or just turning 14 in eighth grade. If you're gonna start them on the earlier end, then maybe seventh grade. So now we're talking 12, 13. But I don't think you need to start them much earlier than that. Now, many people do, and that's fine. That's their prerogative. There's no law against it. Hopefully, the journey is beautiful. But in my mind, the game is physical. If I can minimize the wear and tear on those tires, if I could minimize the wear and tear on my child's body, then I think I can start them a little later. And obviously today with flag football, with all of the personal trainers, they can learn some of the skills and the technique of football without having to get into tackle football, physical football, being slammed on the ground or slamming people on the ground so young. They can wait for that. They can learn some of the skill of the game, some of the nuance of the game, and then get into tackle seventh or eighth grade. That's my opinion. It saves us a little bit of time. Instead of them starting 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 like me, it saves them a little bit of time to let their body mature, make sure that there's no hardcore injuries before they get into high school. But if you start them right before high school, they're still a step above all of the other kids who haven't started yet. Now, granted, once again, depending on where you are geographically, the kids that you go to high school with and that you're in the freshman class with, a lot more of them may have played football if you're talking about going to high school down south. Now you start heading west, maybe some of these kids aren't really starting until they're in high school. So a lot of the kids that start seventh or eighth grade are ahead. They're still ahead. Even though it's 1 year, 2 years, they're still ahead than the other kids that are starting just in high school. You got all of the nervousness out. Now, if you're down south and these kids are predominantly starting younger, that's something to keep in mind because now you may be a little bit further behind unless you did extra work with the trainers, unless you did extra work in flag football, unless you develop certain skills that are outside of tackle football. Now, I've seen athletes who have started really young, and by the time they're getting towards the end of their high school year, it's a lot of mileage. Especially if you're talking about a superstar running back that's had a bunch of carries in Little League or a quarterback that's been hit a few times in Little League. Now he's going into high school and he's having to be physical. That can wear and tear where now the end of high school or early college, you see a lot of kids breaking down. You are the asset. You are the vehicle. So if my dad used to have this saying, and I'm sure he got it from someone, but you can't make the club in the tub. These guys are getting older. Now they're in college. Now they're in the pros. They're getting their shot, but they're breaking down. Are they breaking down because of what they're going through now? Or are they breaking down just because they've had years and years and decades of wear and tear on their body? Some of these high school kids will run a kid to death, or a kid like me will play both ways. That's a lot of wear and tear on your body. So do you want a kid going through that since 5 years old? And now we are in the day and age where these kids are making money in college. So you're even more of an asset that needs to be protected. There are plenty of levels to this question, you guys. Another thing that you need to consider is that when a kid starts playing football young, there's a higher chance of the coaching not being as good as well. You know, you get more of the novice coach, the guy who played in 1 year of high school, 2 years of high school. Now he's out coaching your kid. Is he putting them through the proper technique? You know, it's a lot easier to be a little league coach than it is to be a high school coach at a big time high school, or of course a college or a professional coach. You know, there's a lot less hours of coaching that goes into the mindset of the Little League Pop Warner coach. You're probably just getting somebody's dad, most likely. You don't know their expertise. So you also risk injury because your kid might not be taught the proper things, you guys. So you have to be smart with the age that you sign your kid up for tackle football, especially if you think that they're going to try and have a long-term career or try to go far with the sport. You want to minimize the wear and tear on their body. I get it. You don't want them to be too far behind. I get it. But they'll catch up, and maybe you look for other angles that aren't as physical, and then you get them started 7th or 8th grade. They'll be fine. They'll quickly catch on, especially if there's someone that has some athletic ability. Maybe they play basketball, they play baseball. Maybe it's a bigger kid. He wrestles. Maybe they do track. They've got some athletic ability. They'll be fine. They'll quickly figure it out. Maybe 1 year, maybe 1 or 2 right before high school. But that's all you need. That's all you need, in my opinion. So, hey, tell me what you guys think. When is the proper time for a young man that loves football? He's watching it on TV. Maybe his dad played a little bit. He loves football. He wants to go far for football. He's about 6, 7, 8 years old right now. When's the perfect time for that young man to start playing tackle football? You guys let me know what you think. Let me know when you started and if you thought that was the proper time or if you thought it was a little too late or too early. Let me know. Please subscribe to the Before You Go Pro channel because I love the feedback that we're getting. I love the questions. We're building this thing big, almost to 1,000 subscribers. So kudos to you guys. And then also, check out the resources we got for you, baby. We've got a lot planned this week, so make sure you come back Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern, in the huddle with Coach Wood. We'll see you at the top.